And now, from Grid Square Echo Mike 48, this is 100 Watts and a Wire.
Well, howdy, friends, and welcome
Good
to
morning.
100 Watts and a Wire. I'm Christian. My call sign is Kilo Zero Sierra Tango Hotel, and Steve is here. He is W7 United Delta India. Oh,
morning,
Lord,
everyone.
I tell you what, Pastor Joe in the pre-show asked, I told him I was transmitting from hell here because of my lighting. And, let's be frank, we're all friends here. Steve and I had to go to the bathroom. And turns out if you see smoke, it's because it's hot in hell and the potties make it sizzle. I don't know. But I guess you ran out the door too. I don't know.
Yeah.
But now I feel great. Like we can do.
We're ready to go.
How's everybody doing here? And welcome to the show. We did I think a successful pre-show meet and greet, and it's just something we've sort of created to say hello to people that we know. We can't get to Dayton. We don't get to see everybody here as we're transmitting and recording the show. But we may have to do like it gets my mind because there's interest there. People showed up. And I'm like, well, maybe we got to make room for it where you just thank people for coming by and rolling with you. Some of the people that we had in the pre-show have been with us since the early days, and you can check their 100 watt IDs and then wow, you got one of those like those early ones.
Old timers.
Yeah, it's old timers. Just handed them out. So I hope everybody's doing okay and has recovered from Thanksgiving. It's definitely different, but I kind of enjoyed it, man, because it was less travel. Mm-hmm. I don't enjoy the reasons why we have to do this, but it was a smaller gathering with less of the family. I guess I would put it that way. And, I think I could hit the stretchy pants sooner. I don't have to feel like I'm all hemmed up. Like sitting there with the great aunts, like, just want them stretchy pants.
There was a lot less drama.
Yeah.
So, no, it was good. It was nice, low key. And I really enjoyed it. It was nice. It was good to have the daughter and her husband and the grandbaby here. So my wife was happy. And then once that was all done, it was Christmas decorating gone wild. So
I know it really, we sort of got some of that stuff going, but I couldn't get up.
Couldn't get up.
Oh Lord, you took it down. Where's Pastor Joe? I got to keep you in check. That's it. I'm going to fire off a letter to HR. Well, no, you remember last week I had tore my ankle up. I fell out of a shed. Like, only I could do, it seems. Yeah. And a couple days after that, I was able to put weight on it again, but I couldn't get up a ladder. You know what I'm saying? So I was just sort of like, we did some of the lights, that kind of stuff, and I got to hang a wreath. So I'm going to be testing the old ankle today to see if I can get up, on the side of the garage, put that wreath up. But we'll see. A couple days ago it gets a little bit better every day, but I can't risk stepping in a mole hole or some sort of water pulling away the earth and turning this over right now. This was a pretty good one, Steve. I don't know.
Man,
that's what happened. Hello to Jeff. Hello to Jared. Here's Jared.
Good morning,
Kilo
guys.
Bravo 1, Sierra Echo Mike. Will be giving away the 40-meter loop, the Sky Loop antenna today, courtesy of LDG, who are sponsoring 12 weeks of antenna giveaways. You need to be in the chat here to win. So I encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, which is relatively new. We'd love to have you there. We're streaming out live to Twitter, Facebook, and to YouTube. The audio is pulled and sent out to the podcast side. But everybody's welcome. Yeah. In order to win anytime at all now during the show, you put your call sign in, you will be qualified to win. So if you have to dip out, in other words, put your call sign in there, you'll be good to go. And this week it's the 40-meter loop, and Ed chimed into the pre-show and taught us a little bit about that antenna, which I don't know much about it. I know it's 35 feet on each side. Imagine a square, right?
Well, it's whatever you put up. I mean, it's ideally it's a square or circular, but it's just get the wire up, and it could. In Ed's case, it was a kind of a triangle, and but as long as you got it, so what's a half wave is 66 feet, so 130 feet for a full wave loop. Give or take a foot or two, and it's perfect. And just get it up any way you can, and Ed feeds it with a quarter wave stub of 75 ohms, and he uses that section as a matching transformer, like a 4-to-1 Ballon or ladder line. There's different ways of doing it, and in Ed's case, he's keeps going back to that. He's tried different setups, but he says that he keeps going back to the quarter wave matching section, which is, if it works, use it. And I like it. It's simple. He's using the KISS method. And that's awesome.
We'll be talking about towers and antennas today. We've got plenty of time, and this doesn't just say we're going to spend all this time. We're going to get to the towers and to the antennas for sure. But the first part of the show is saying hello to the folks who came by, like Bill, Alpha Bravo 9, Quebec United.
Morning, Bill. Thank you for stopping by.
You. Here we have Andy again, and we found out that he is in the UK. Okay. He's 2E0REE. Hello to Andy. We've got a really good overseas audience. I didn't know. The first time we started streaming, it was someone had checked in from Iraq like a couple of times. I'm thinking military. I don't know. We didn't discuss it, but it's really cool to see such an international brother and sister hood, if you will. So hello to Andy. And here's an Andrew. Good morning,
Andrew.
From Florida.
Oh, he's probably dealing with the 85-degree weather too down there.
Oh, yeah. You suck, man. That's terrible. I don't want you around here with your sunshine.
Yeah, we're like 39, 40 degrees this morning. So
Dave in New Jersey said it's sunny. He should be out on Air Portable. Whiskey 4, nice. Juliet Lima. His 100 watt ID is 193, so he's been with us quite a bit. There's Ed, who's welcome back. He says, welcome back, OMs. Ed,
morning, Ed.
Helping us from his abode in Austria. Do I get it right? I just have it in my head. It's connected to him. Hello, Don, with his cigars. I saw him yesterday during the ham radio trivia night. I hope you won, because you are my favorite, Don. The rest of those guys, watch out. Just kidding. November 9-6, Romeo Alpha Yankee. That's Ray. He says, good morning from Northern California. Marty, who woke up, he got his alarm clock set for this. Unfortunately, we're going to let you down, but you might enjoy the nap. We will not interrupt your nap later today. You woke up too early for this. That's right. He's in Amsterdam.
Netherlands, yes.
He's from Amsterdam, Netherlands. Got it. Got it. I'll forget. I want to say that I'll remember. Ian, he is one of our net control operators.
Morning,
on
Ian,
Sunday
buddy.
Evenings, 7:00 Central Time. You can listen to him from Georgia. Good morning to you. There's Steve and Nat. Good morning from Georgia. Another one. Kilo Charlie 8 Yankee Romeo Kilo.
Oh.
And so lots of friends here. And we had Ed from Germany. Lots of other folks are stopping by. So it's good to see you. And so we decided, here's Andrew. Andrew is in Montana. So we're getting a good cross section of the country.
All right.
And
representing the Northwest.
So
morning, Andrew.
That. There's Ohio, Whiskey Echo
morning, Bill.
8 Bravo. And being in the chat, many people are putting their call signs in the chat now because we're going to give away an antenna. We'll give away another antenna today and then next week. So you have to be in the chat to win. So I encourage everybody, if you're in the Facebook community, great. If you follow us on Twitter, that's great. But if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you'll know when we go live. And that's good. That's good information. So you'll see whenever we're doing whatever we're doing. And Ed says, just think of the red light district in Amsterdam, Christian. Then you won't forget where Edwin is from. Good. Yeah, I hear that's great.
Yeah.
I remember the stories. Yeah, look at mine. They fit right in there. Transmitting from hell, K0STH. So good morning to everybody. And Steve, we decided to go with your topic because you sent me some pictures earlier in the week And he's like, I got it stacked, and he was cold.
Stacked. It was, yep. It was. We stacked it during the freezing fog, my son and I, and so I was teaching him. He got a lesson on how to operate a cat head, and
tell us more about a cat head. What is that about?
It's basically a electric winch, which has a capstan head on it, and then you 3 wraps of the rope, and depending on if you tug on it, it bites onto the capstan head, and then it pulls up your load. Or if you loosen it up, then the capstan head will continue to spin, and you can maintain the load in one spot. So giving them a little life lesson on how to stack towers. So between the two of us, I mean, we stacked a 40-foot tower, and it wasn't too bad. So it was fun to spend time with my son.
Oh yeah, it must be. Give anything to hang out with Dad again. I'm going to share my screen here, and we know that Thanksgiving and what was it, the Black Friday? I guess they call it Black Friday. Let's see if this works here. Oh, I got somebody. Let's see. I can move this over. Is this it? Okay, so I posted, did you buy anything today? Were you looking for anything specific for your Black Friday? And lots of comments. We don't have to go through all of those. But let's see what we have here. We'll bring it up here, and I'll read it. Look at this. I've got a chat open there. Let's go up here. Let's see what Kilo 5 Yankee Victor Yankee, since I bought his 100 watts and a wire swag, he said he was all done. And I asked, what did you buy today? What are you looking for? And, Black Friday deals. I don't know about you, Steve, but I was like, I don't. It's not to say I don't need anything, but when I usually buy the smalls, those small things, and 25% off in the 100 watts and a wire store yesterday. So he got himself some swag.
Nice.
Which is cool. Thank you for that. That supports the show. Robert says he bought another radio, and he added another
nice
857. Don't tell the XYL. Sorry.
Too late.
Too late. You know she's watching. Trent says he took advantage of your sale, got another T-shirt. Thank you for that. I'm not sure why I'm seeing all that.
Got it. One big slug for the Bird 43. Nice. Good job.
Yeah. Matthew says nope. That's kind of like me. I did not buy anything. He's going.
I didn't have time yesterday. I was too busy putting up Christmas lights, helping the wife decorate inside the house with more lights, and then the gnomes.
And the gnomes. I can't wait to see some pictures of the gnomes. Ken says he's going to get a 2-meter 440 antenna and some coax from HRO. That's it. Ed said he didn't buy anything today, but I'm waiting in the mail for the mailman to bring a second RTL SDR dongle for his RPI camera. It's out for delivery. Here's Tom. Bought himself a toilet. Does that count? Sure.
Did you get it on sale?
I hope you got it on sale. Chris says I bought a new laptop. That's exciting. That's very exciting, and normally not cheap depending on what you get. Philip got some pulleys for his 160-meter full wave loop antenna. She's a big girl. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Lordy,
baby, that is a
Lordy,
big girl.
Lordy. Yes.
Woo, that's a lot of wire up.
Let's see. Ron says he got some QRM eliminator, some X-phase kit. Cool. Kobe says he went to Menards to look at wire to build a fan dipole. Didn't buy any because I'm still researching it. Very good. Maybe we can talk about that on the show. Rex did some looking. No purchases. Understood. Tony, KPA 500 and KTA 500 power combo. Damn, that Elecraft flavored Kool-Aid.
Okay. Nice. Very nice.
Franklin says he's got either looking for or picked up a G90 from Zygu, which is good. Lots of great deals out there. And if you're part of social media, a lot of people don't do it. I understand that. But the Facebook group is a great sort of repository for questions and answers for people who may be looking for information. Here's Paul said he just bought a Yaesu FT891 and the Atlas 120A for the truck, so he can take it camping if he likes. Small footprint in the camper. David said he was laid off. We're thinking about you, David. And with the COVID restrictions, no new radios for him. We're we're thinking about you there and everybody who is
poor
struggling
Rhea
through
ran out of money.
Rhea's out of money, and that's saying something right there because she's got it. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Steve said he bought 18 cans of Carling Lager and 1 liter bottle of Cockburn Special Reserve Port.
Nice. Very nice.
Somebody might want to check on Steve.
Steve is going to be one happy camper here real soon.
This was from yesterday. We need to check in on him. Sarah Sari said she doesn't play blood sport. Okay, understood. Yeah, I wouldn't go out on. I've never ever gone out on Black Friday to look at stuff. And it goes on and on. Didn't spend a single cent, says Michael Smith.
Nice.
Dale got a new pair of jeans. Very good. You got to stay clean and look nice.
Bags for the XYL. Sweet. Here we go. Milwaukee tools.
I like Milwaukee. Now they're good, right? They're good because I look at them and I fall in love easily, and I'm like, well, I think I need that in my life. So I do like the Milwaukee tools. Let's get back over to my screen. So thank you all for sharing what you're looking for. Hopefully you got your deals if you were out there shopping around. I know there was a bunch of them. HRO had a lot of stuff. The Main Trading Company had a lot of stuff. What's the other one? Gigaparts, DX Engineering. There's so many places where you can go. And I like that competition because competition makes good prices for us.
And Universal Radio is they're retiring. So they're basically gone to they closed the storefront, and now they're just online to sell down their inventory. So here's a good opportunity to get them going out with a bang, and you can get some pretty good deals from Universal Radio. So just check them out online.
Comes a time. We're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we'll dig into Steve's. He doesn't really have a predicament. He's just got options. And I think that's such a great thing. So stay with us. We'll come back in. The ICOM 705 is your perfect QRP companion as you have base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers. But it's in a portable package covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at 1 kilo or just over 2 pounds. With RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz. It's got that large 4.3-inch color touchscreen with live band scope and waterfall. And the perfect accessory for the IC705 is the optional backpack. It's the LC192. It has a special compartment for the IC705 and room for accessories for soda activations or just a day in the park. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on all ICOM radios. And there you are. Yeah, got some great feedback from Leanne's visit last week along the lines of, hey, it's great having another person there to break your balls, Christian. I'm like, oh, is that good? I guess it's good. No, we enjoyed it. We both enjoyed having her around. It's nice to have a female perspective on the
especially
show.
a mom.
Get it. And mom, having a mom there and those babies running around. They're like naked children and daredevil children. And I was getting nervous. And she was just as cool as any mom would be. You know? So, yeah, dad, I'm not the dad, but the dad's worried that this child's going to go flipping into the sink. And she said, I think she's washing dishes or grabbing a knife. I'm like, oh, good Lord.
Yeah, crawling up on whatever, the chair or step stool or whatever it was. That was a riot.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that. And let's see, we got people joining us this morning. It's really nice to have Bill from Indiana. Welcome to Bill, Alpha Bravo 9, Quebec United. I have a couple of videos. I've asked some people to send us some videos, like let us know what you're working on. And I got a couple sent in so we could do that. But let's talk about now your tower projects. You stacked the second tower, and we know you've got the big baby up there. Why don't you tell us about your towers and your current situation, Steve?
So the big tower, or the 80-footer, is it's been up for a number of years. Is this a few weeks back, or a month or so, it changed out the old high gain antenna, and now we have the M squared KT36 XA. It started life out as a KLM. I rebuilt it, and now it's that was a fun project, and then finally got around to getting that up, and used a man lift to do that operation, which, wow, that's the way to go, especially dealing with a big beam. And then finally, I this week, with the help of my son, we stacked the second tower, which is a 40-foot tower. And like I was explaining earlier, just, taught him how to use the capstan, or the cat head as we call it. And then with the gin pole, we, pulled up the sections and then stacked the tower. So that was, it was great to spend time with my son and give him a little bit of, life lessons as far as, how to do some working with ropes and the cat head and things like that. So now the dilemma is what to put on the tower. Now, this is not a guide tower. This is a bracketed tower. So now we got to deal with how much do we put up there and staying within safe limits of the wind loading. So that's been the bigger the issue, and we've been going back and forth, and it's like, wow, do I want a 17-meter antenna, or do I want to put a hex beam up, or do I just want to put a 6-meter antenna? Eventually there's going to be VHF, UHF antennas on it, and one's already arrived yesterday. So we have a dual band antenna, which will top it all. And so now that's the question, and this is the dilemma, and where to go. Surprisingly enough, I always thought the hex beam was very lightly loaded as far as wind loading, and I was surprised to see it's about 5.5 square feet of wind loading, and I was like, ooh, that's going to probably take it to the limit. I want to keep everything 6 feet and below. It's, I think, for where I have it bracketed, I have the margin of 6.5 square feet of wind loading, and I don't want to exceed that. Now, Roan tower, I'm using Roan 25, and Roan is very conservative when it comes to wind loading, and so I want to stay below their maximum limit, and so I've hard capped it at 6.5 square feet. So it's one of the things that a lot of hams over the years, they overload their towers, and you need to be mindful of that. And I've seen too many failed towers because of overloading and not factoring that in. And so that comes down under the pre-planning. When you're, going to do a tower, you got to really, really plan it out. And it's not one of those things, oh yeah, I'm just going to do it and bam, bam. No, it's a multi-month process, at least for me, planning it out. What am I going to do? Then, doing the base, and everything starts at the foundation and getting that base done properly and correctly, and then letting the concrete cure. So, yep, had my 30-day cure before I even started to stack. So there's a lot of factors going into that.
You opened up a little bit of information, a new door, if you will. So you get your tower up there, it's 40 feet, and you start thinking, I can put as many antennas up there as would hold, you would think. And you're thinking maybe interference. And once you get over that, the wind factor of making this thing so top heavy could become the issue. I've never thought about this. I don't have a tower. I'm in the trees, as everybody knows. So wind, not necessarily just for the antenna itself, but for the top of the tower could be an issue.
Yeah. I mean, it's the tower's designed to take so much wind loading at a given height and the design of the tower. And so you need to kind of stay into that space, that safe zone, because if you exceed it, your tower's not going to survive. And the last thing you want is a tower to come down and damage your house or your outbuilding or wherever you have it. And then most importantly, you don't want anyone to get hurt. And so there's a lot of factors go into this, and people talk about, oh yeah, I got this tower. It was given to me. It's like, okay, well, you need to find out who manufactured it. And a lot of times you don't know. A Roan 25 looks all similar to a Roan 20, and a Roan 20 is a super lightweight version. It was mainly designed for when they came out for, people put up TV antennas back in the day, and wasn't designed to put up, a large antenna. So you need to kind of, find out what manufacturer of antenna, tower you have, and then what are you going to do with it? What's the plan? What do you want to put up? And there's a lot goes into that. That's outside of all the local regulations and this and that, as far as, permitting that you need, or PE stamps that you need to have done. And this is just the basics. And I'm no engineer. So,
well, you put a lot of thought into it, and here I am. I'm like, hey, 17 meters sounds great, and I'm making these suggestions to you, like, hey, man, buddy, 17 would be cool, because there was a few years ago, you and I were, I don't know, we'd say infatuated, or I was, and for 17 meters, and I was like, you could probably put one of those like wire, and then I was like, wait. How about 6, and then we were talking about the hex beam, and then you could get 6 inset. And so what are your real options at this point in your mind? Like, what's your gut telling you that you think you might do on this one?
I think I'm just going to stick with, 30 megahertz and above. So looking at a 4 element, I'm going to start off with a 6 meter beam, and then with the various verticals for VHF, UHF, and then maybe some directional antennas on UHF to point to a certain repeater or something like that. But for the most part, I'm going to keep it relatively lightweight for the time being. And so and then go from there. But I don't want to overload it. I'd love to have a 17 meter antenna up there. And it's like, oh, that'd be great. I've wire antenna, I can do that. And, but for the time being, I think this will be the kind of the safer course, and let's leave it at that. And that's what I originally designed for it. And then, you get it up, and then your mind starts going, oh, I can do this, you can do that. And then I was like, well, step back, take a look at it. Let's kind of analyze it and go from there.
Yeah. You brought up a lot of good points there with people who I have seen a lot more people inherit from their clubs, from Silent Keys. You can get the tower if you just come take it down. And so you do in some ways have an idea of who that person was and the care that was given to it. So that's a plus. But I don't know too many people who have actually bought new towers. Maybe I just haven't met them because I don't have one. I know you and that you do, but I don't. And I think at one point you were like, I've got some stuff, because you were like, we could hook you up with a small tower. And I was like, okay, let's look at it down the road. We'll look at that maybe. So I knew where it would be coming from, but not, we get these things, and I took a trip one day. I went to Iowa, and you talk about television towers. I was flipping out, man. At the time, I didn't understand. They were in every house. I'm like, wow, this has to be the most hams I've ever seen per capita anywhere are in Iowa. And it turns out that it's like television. They were all like television, but they were house to house to house, man. You could, there were sticks all over the place. So I guess I'm all over the place too. But I've never really seen too many people just go buy the sections. We either inherit them from Silent Keys, or Joe knows somebody over here. I can go pick them up. And I think it's really important that you understand where it's coming from and how to do this right, because unfortunately, you and I have talked about this on the show before too. Too many people are going up on these towers and lose their lives on towers. And some of that could be because of bad practices or faulty, weird.
They didn't inspect their tower before they went up. And a lot of times what ends up happening is there's a weep hole depending on the base that you're using. So if you're using a pure base, like my main tower. It's on a pier pin, and so down on the base there's weep holes, and you want to make sure that's clear. And especially in this environment here where we get freezing temperatures, because if water builds up into your tower sections, it will do a couple of things. It will corrode from the inside. And the other thing is when that water freezes, it's going to split your tower. I have a top section that I left laying out one season. I didn't put it under cover, and the water got in it, and it split the tower. There's a seam, so I've flagged that. I'm never going to use that section of tower. I just got to cut it up and send it off for scrap because it had a split. And oh yeah, Steve, you can go out there and grind down the Galvi and then re-weld it and all this. Like, nah, it's not worth it. The integrity of the tower has been compromised. You just don't go for it. It's a couple $100 for a new section. That particular one is a top section, so it's like $250 for a new section. Throw it away, scrap it out, get a replacement, and go from there.
How much is your life worth, right?
So what ends up happening is people don't inspect the tower. They don't inspect the base. They don't inspect their guy system, and then they go up and then go from there. Another prime example, a buddy of mine here locally had his dream beam, the big guy. That was the Step IR DB36, I think it is. That's the monster beam. He had a aluminum crank up tower. Now, he consulted with the manufacturer of the tower, and they said, "Oh yeah, it can handle that tower can handle the wind load." I personally thought it was a little overloaded. I wouldn't have done that, but darn thing, we had a freak windstorm come through. It was probably a downdraft or one of these micro bursts, bent it over like a pretzel. And it's like, oh man. And he even had a guide. He had some guying on the top section, but the eye at the top of the tower, it failed. And once the guy let loose, then it just couldn't take the weight anymore, and over it went. And fortunately, no one got hurt. The house didn't get damaged or anything, and that's the main thing. Unfortunately, he lost a great antenna and a tower. He's in the process of rebuilding it and going from there. And so, yeah, it's
and couple things. We want to take your questions too. If you're thinking about a tower or you have a tower, any questions for Steve, because he does this for a living, for number one, and he just put his second tower up there. So if you have questions about different things related to towers or antennas, Steve is probably the guy that can answer those. We may have to move into the next show. Actually, this one's really buzzing by, but put them in the chat. Also, remember, anytime you put your call sign in the chat here today, you'll qualify for next week's antenna giveaway, and we'll have to figure out what that's going to be as we go. There was a question here. Let's see if we can answer this for David. How close can I put 2 meters, 6 meters, and 70 centimeter antennas? Any thoughts on that, or distances that you think are safe, Steve?
So there's a rule of thumb on about a half wavelength. So you got your 6 meter antenna. So your 2 meter antenna should be about 3 feet apart from the 6 meter antenna. And then the 70 centimeter could be, a foot and a half or so. Think about a half wavelength. And that's just to kind of keep from interacting from each other. That's the ideal. In reality, it becomes whatever real estate you have. But think about a half a wavelength from the next band up. So you're going to have most people will put their 6 meter antenna down low, will be the first one as you're going up the ladder. And then your 2 meter one will be the next one stacked. So you want that 3 foot difference there. That way the 6 meter antenna is not going to be interacting with the 2 meter antenna. It's not so much that the 6 meter antenna is going to be seeing the 2 and the 440 antenna, because they're going to be basically transparent to it. it's going to be the 2-meter antenna interacting with the 6-meter antenna. And this works on HF too, as ideally you try to get there, but reality comes into play, and it's you get what spacing you can get based on how much mast you have up above the top of the tower, if you're using a tower or whatever masting you're using. So, but I'd say think of a half wavelength of the antenna that you're putting up to the antenna that's below it.
Got it. All right, cool. We're going to wrap up side 1 here. Stick with us. If you're in the chat, this would be a good time for you to put your call signs in there to be qualified for the antenna giveaway. We'll pick a winner on side 2, which is coming up. So hang tight. Give us about 30 seconds, and we'll wrap things up, and we'll be right back with you. 7-3.
To join the 100 Watts in a Wire community, visit 100wattsinawire.com.